All right, that should start things up. So a little bit a different setup this time than my previous live stream. First of all, I've got a different webcam, as you can probably guess by the aspect ratio of the video. And second of all, different location, all that fun stuff. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio right now. And we're sort of going to talk about the upcoming weekend. It also probably looks a lot better because actually this hotel is much better upstream bandwidth than my home. So you're probably getting a much better picture. This could even be like my first 1080, well, probably 720p. Anyway, enough of all that. So, the sort of agenda for today is I'm going to go over sort of what's happening this weekend here in Columbus, what my personal plans are as a mostly a spectator, and we're going to have a little Q&A session at the end. I'm also going to show you some stuff that I did today. So first off, this weekend is the North American Internationals in Columbus, Ohio. So they started doing this last year where they took what they used to have was each country had a nationals, and now they have 4 internationals, one for North America, one for Europe, one for Latin America, and one for Oceania. Japan's and like Korea's organized play is still separate. And so this is the North American one. It's usually held right around the 4th of July. So this year, it's the weekend afterwards. And it's here in Columbus, Ohio. So there's a TCG competition, a VGC competition, and Pokken tournament, which they've been running that for a couple years. And this time around, they've got a competition directly here to qualify for Worlds next month. So let's get started here. First thing I think we want to do is I have sort of a schedule that some of the Pokemon folks sent to me. So if you're watching the official Pokemon streams, there's going to be 4 streams it looks like here. There's a main stream, which is going to swap between games depending on what they decide to cover at what time. There's a TCG stream, there's a VGC stream, and there's a Pokken Tournament DX stream. So yes, they are using the Switch version that came out last year. So somewhat, I got all these times they gave me in Pacific Daylight Time, even though the event itself is in the Eastern time zone of the United States, which is, I think, GMT -4, if you're looking at that. So I'm going to have to add 3 hours to each of these. So let's see. It looks like for tomorrow and Friday, the mainstream from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. They're going to be VGC Swiss rounds, and then starting at 3:45 p.m. and running till 9, they're going to have Pokemon TCG Switch rounds, or Swiss rounds. Let's see. And then what else we got? We got on the TCG stream, it's going to go from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. They're going to have the TCG Swiss rounds. And let's see, VGC stream on that dedicated one, they have 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. They'll have the Swiss rounds there. So a little bit broken up. And then let's see, Saturday. Let's see, mainstream from 9 to 1:30, 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. They got the TCG Swiss rounds from, let's see, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. They've got some video game top cut matches. And then on the from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., they've got TCG top cut matches. The TCG stream for Saturday looks like it's 11:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. They've got TCG Swiss rounds. And let's see. And then from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., they've got top cut matches for TCG. VGC stream is kind of similar. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They've got VGC Swiss rounds. Remember the Masters division, at least in the TCG, I know is going to go on to sort of a second day. They have this structure that they typically use at these big events where things have a second day of Swiss. And then finally go down to a top cut. But VGC stream, let's see, it's from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is top cut matches on Saturday. And we also get the Pokken Tournament DX. I guess that's only Saturday and Sunday. That runs from 9:30 a.m. to, I assume they meant 3 p.m. The sheet I have here says 3 a.m. I'm certainly hoping it only goes till 6 p.m., but it says Pokken Tournament DX main bracket. Hopefully that is a typo. Let's see. And then on Sunday on the main stream, let's see, I've got from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. They're going to do all the finals for TCG and VGC, it looks like. They're running TCG Junior Division, TCG Senior Division, TCG Masters Division, and then VGC Junior Division, VGC Senior Division, and VGC Masters Division. And then they have still that separate Poker Tournament DX stream from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. They have the sort of the final cut matches of whatever there. So obviously the Poker Tournament is a smaller event. But that's what I was given here to as the times. Of course, they do say all times approximate and subject to change because things can and do go wrong. Or finish ahead of time, as we sometimes see. So we'll kind of see what happens there. So keep an eye. I go to Pokemon's Twitch stream. They're always going to have the most up-to-date information. I'm just a average guy who tries to cover these events. So that's sort of the layout. But let's see here. Okay, let me get back to the live event window. So that's sort of the rough streaming schedule that Pokemon has for this weekend. So yeah, in addition to those main events, of course, there's going to be a lot of side events, Creative Corner, stuff like that going on. Let's see, so as far as my personal experience this weekend, what I wound up doing is I flew in today. I thought about leaving on the 4th, but it's not always the best day to travel on Independence Day. Sometimes you might want to. Certainly if you were coming from overseas and you had jet lag to deal with, that might be a good idea to come an extra day early. But let's see. But I came in today and flew through Chicago from Madison and then Chicago to Columbus. So pretty standard there, I would say. Nothing too bad in the weather department or anything like that. So got here since U.S. Nationals. Last year they had a U.S. Nationals that was just a U.S. Nationals was a couple years ago. They had that here, so I kind of knew some of what to expect. Let's see what else. And so I just took they have a bus service that runs every half hour from the airport to here. So I just used that. Set up in the hotel and got checked in. I got my first kind of little prop I have here is the spectator badge that I have right here. I think it's a different color than last time. Oh, it does say on the back here, OP Badge 2018 North America Spectator. So technically speaking, I do have quote unquote press access, but they don't have any formal badges for that. So not, I was kind of a little disappointed there, I guess, that I didn't have a specific press badge. Let's see, but I bought the spectator badge ahead of time just in case. Ever since what happened with Worlds a couple years ago, I've been really cautious and try to get my ducks in a row ahead of time. I used to just show up, do interviews and stuff like that, well before they even had a real press process at these events. But now I do make sure to contact ahead of time because of what happened there. So since they do have limited, in theory, they could run out of spectator badges, but that doesn't practically happen. All right. The other thing you do is when you get other way. There we go. Do a spectator. You do pay money for it, and they do give you a couple packs off of that. I'll probably do a little pack opening in just a little bit to fill in some time, I suppose. May as well get all the tropes of Pokemon live streaming done. They also had a couple vendors there. They did not have, I don't think, an official Pokemon Center store. I don't think, but they did have two vendors there: Collector's Cash and Yeti Gaming. I did pick up one of these. I think it was from Collector's Cash, I think. But I picked up this little. Let's see, will it focus there? This thing is supposed to have autofocus of some sort, but it probably. Let's see if I get really close there. Will it try to focus? There we go. There we are. Yeah, this is a little Meloetta pin. So Meloetta is, because of the musical aspect, I wish they had the pirouette form. They just have the aria form here. My favorite, well, it's technically mythical, not legendary, but what can I say? Give that a second to refocus. Let's see here. There we are. But I picked up that for a couple bucks, and I'll probably be putting that on somewhere in my backpack or something for this weekend. So that was a nice find. You know, one of the places actually they had a lot of really odd retro event shirts, like going all the way back to, well, they had like a World's 2002 staff shirt. They had a World's 2004 staff shirt. I was lucky enough to be a staff member there, so I do have one of those in much worse condition than the one they had there. Um, and a bunch of other stuff. Rather kind of actually expensive, but they just had it kind of on a rack there. Oh, by the way, since we've got a couple viewers right now, we're going to have a question and answer session towards the end of this. So if you want to type in questions or comments on any of my recent videos or just sort of the event in general, I'll try and get those answered for you. You know, I'm just a fan. I don't work for Pokemon or anything like that. Um, but yeah, that was sort of that. Came back to the hotel, had dinner, worked out pretty well actually. I do kind of like the setup. One interesting with the convention center is 2 years ago when they were running U.S. Nationals there, it was a lot different because they were doing some renovations. Specifically, they were just building new stuff, installing new things. I can't tell you exactly what they did. And so it was a little disorienting getting back in there, even though I had been to the convention center a ways back. So that was took me a little bit of time to get around there, especially since I was just approaching from a different direction on some things. So yeah, well, let's see. But as far as like side events, I should point that out. That's where I'm going to be spending most of my time tomorrow and probably Saturday as well, since it sort of depends what I find here. The first couple days, since there's not any top finishers until the last day, I don't do a ton of interviews unless I can find like a good story somewhere. That could be a cosplayer, which unfortunately I think we've been seeing less and less of as these events get longer and longer for some reason, which is pretty unfortunate. Of course, if you're flying from like overseas or something like that, it's kind of hard to put together a costume that will fit in your luggage and go with you. Although I'm sure some people do. But any other good stories? One other thing I'm looking for, I want to mention a recent Ask video that we put out. We're going to be, Anne from Big B Podcast and I are going to be doing an episode sometime this month. We're going to record on European Pokemon music. And if you happen to be here at the event and you happen to be from Europe, we definitely want your opinions. If you're not, of course, you can always get a comment here or on that other video there. We do thrive on your feedback in those discussions. We really like doing that. And unfortunately, for the last couple of movies, we haven't gotten any, which is kind of disappointing. And it just really makes those discussions a lot better. So if you're here at the event and you're from Europe or you have some opinions on European Pokemon music, look for me. And we can certainly talk about it. And I might include some of that stuff in that episode. But in the meantime, let's see. I've got 2 packs here. Let's see what I got. Obviously, no guarantees that I'll get anything good here. But might as well take care of these. So let's see here. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's start with the common. So let's see. Got the Inkay, Gumi. Oh, there's 2 different Gumis in this set, and I got one of each of them. How nice. Snover, Cubone. So those are the commons. Let's see. The parallel foil I got was a very nice Dedenne. They do such interesting things with this Pokemon, the TCG. I really like the sort of puffy cheeks art from it eating like a blue, or actually, well, it's not a Bluckberry because that's supposed to be a Blackberry. I don't remember what the Pokemon equivalent of an actual blueberry is called. If anyone knows, go ahead and put that in the chat. I'd love to know. Let's see. And then, let's see. Basic Energy happens to be a metal. That used to be a bigger deal when those were just recently made, like Basic Energy in the 4th generation. But now that we're on generation 7, they've been out there for a while. Let's see, here are the uncommons. So let's see, I got Sliggoo, which actually would have made this a pretty good like sealed pack for a pre-release thing. Not so much for a booster draft because I wouldn't have gotten all the cards, but like for a pre-release, this would not have been a bad pack. Other than the fact, of course, it's a dragon, so it uses multiple types of energy, which is kind of a bummer. Let's see, I got Frogadier. They definitely Greninja, the most popular, at least fully evolved starter from Generation 6. I think we'll be seeing much more of this over time. And let's see, yeah, Spupa. All right. And then finally, the rare Clawitzer, so not a bad card. Probably not. I don't play competitively. I mostly play for in sealed events. So it's like, well, I can find a use for many different cards there. So things that are competitively valuable in like tournaments may not interest me as much. All right, let's see what's in this one. Let's see, set that aside. That's interesting. But first, we gotta go through the comments. So let's see. We got Cubone, Bunnelby, Snowther, Scatterbug. Let's see. I think this is the one. Oh, this one doesn't. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one that has the ability, or maybe a different Pokemon. But anyway, and then Rockruff. I do kind of like that. Very sad, puppy face there. I can definitely say that. Um, I would really love for there to be. I don't have the time or the expertise to do this myself, but if you want a free YouTube channel idea, something I don't know that exists out there is something that critiques the art of Pokemon cards. I think there is a really good opportunity for that somewhere. If someone has an art degree or a real interest in art that more so than me, um, oh, I just know something on the Cubone card. There's a Cubone or Marowak or something shaped cloud up there. Not sure what they're specifically saying up there. Um, that's kind of interesting. Right. Let's see. So next up, some folks out in the hall. Hopefully that isn't coming up too much on the microphone. Apologize if it is. Let's see. Uncommons. So let's see. Got Tyrant. A little face there, I suppose. Another Sligoo. This would have been great in a pre-release. I would have had let's see, a 2-2 line already. And another Frogadier. So, yeah, I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of this. Obviously, it's in the next Smash, or the Greninja's in the next Smash Bros. Because they're bringing back all the characters. Okay, so let's see. Fighting Energy. If you're ever playing a limited tournament, let's see. So I'm going to show you my. Whoops, careful there. Parallel foil, which happened to be a Noivern. Pretty neat. It's got a 1 energy attack of Supersonic for confusing it. I always recommend in a limited format, whether that's booster draft or whatever, you find a Pokemon, ideally actually a basic, not a stage 1, that can confuse for 1 energy. That really, if you ever run into one of those one Pokemon 30 some energy decks, you wouldn't see 39 so much anymore because of the way the pre-releases are done. But you can always mess them up pretty bad by using one of these that has a 1 energy confusion attack. All right, time for the rare. Well, this is interesting. Guess I got kind of lucky there. Got another Buzzwole, baby Buzzwole, as it's known. So this is very good in 4 prize format for kind of obvious reasons. That first attack there, your opponent's going to start with 4 prizes, so there's not really a way they can avoid it. So always look out for this in those limited formats. But yeah, so this would have been really good there. So I guess I used up all my luck stuff, but can't complain too much on that. But I do plan on spending a lot of my time tomorrow and Saturday at the sort of the pre-release like events. They're not run exactly like a pre-release, but you get the pre-release box and it comes with stuff. So that's where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time in, I think. But if you have any questions about the event, go ahead and post those in the comments. We're definitely looking forward to that. We do have a fair bit of time. Let me explain what else is going on with the channel while I kind of wait there. Other things that are going on with the channel right now, just pretty soon here. It was just in the last digest episode of the podcast. Excuse me. Or should I say the last podcast digest episode. Basically, every so often, whenever I get enough content, I will put that into a digest episode that goes in to a podcast feed. And it's not on the channel yet, but it is in that episode, is an interview with Simon Loveridge, who is a British or UK musician, which is why, of course, I published that episode on the 4th of July. who does video game covers. He recently did one on the SS Anne theme from Pokemon Red and Blue. That's a really great interview. I do look forward to getting that actually on the channel, maybe sometime this weekend if I have time. Otherwise, sometime within the next week, depending on what else happens here at internationals and what else I come up with and what my time schedule looks like. Let's see. Aside from those, what else? So that's one thing that's going on. Like I said, in another week or two, we're not sure on the scheduling because Anne's schedule is, she wanted to actually do the discussion this weekend, but obviously that didn't work for me for the European Pokemon music. But we are doing that as our next music discussion episode. I did recently publish our discussion of the music of the Arceus movie. So in between generations. And when we've already, she's already released on her Patreon the Zoroark movie. So in between generations, we'd like to do a special episode. And so our next one there is going to be European Pokemon music, and we're looking forward to that. Like I said, if you're here at the event, or if you're here at on this video or on our Asked video, and you have some European music, especially distinct stuff that doesn't have the direct English equivalent, definitely you want to post comments on that, because I always love feedback, or talk to me at this event if you happen to be here. So that's kind of what's going on with the channel. I am looking to do, again, more musician interviews, since this is normally, when I'm not covering events like this, a music-based channel. As you may recall, for many years I ran the Pokemon Internet Radio Network. And so I've been a major collector. I did finally hear a few days ago that finally the vinyl for the Johto Legends has shipped. So good news there. Of course, I won't see it at least until I get back. But it took them a very long time, and I was also one of the last people to order that on that Kickstarter. So I can imagine. And vinyl pressing tends to get really backed up sometimes. That's one reason actually a lot of indie artists are putting out cassettes, which, I should get those out. Let me. They're in my backpack. Okay. So, normal business cards, but if you track me down at this tournament, you can get either a flyer, which is, one of the options, but you can also get a different promotional item that I carry around with me. Of course, I have the CDs. This is a CD that has a couple interviews, one TCD, one VDC. Sort of the big attractions there are the ones with Mark Chait, who co-wrote the Power of One song for the second movie, and John Leffler, who wrote many, many songs for the Pokemon anime dub up through the end of Generation 5. And if CDs aren't your thing, well, yeah, I actually have these on cassette as well, if you want to go full on hipster. I don't have any vinyl because that doesn't travel, and I would need to do like a 12-inch record to get any decent amount on it. But this is a legit cassette. Now, of course, all these interviews are on my channel if you want to take a look here. But no, this is a real cassette here. So side A and B. But if you track me down at this, or really any major Pokemon event I'm going to, I'm not going to be at Worlds next month due to a work conflict, kind of unfortunately. Not only is work more important, my day job, but it also has a schedule up first. So, not slighting the Pokemon company there. It's not their job to organize their events around my personal day job schedule, obviously. Okay, is there anything else you want to see? I can answer questions. If you have trivia questions you want to ask about Pokemon music, or anything about the channel or the event, go ahead. And we do have one viewer, so go ahead and type those into the chat. I'll give you a little bit of time there. Let's see, anything else I want to bring with me? Let's see. Okay, so, well, that explains a lot. So this bunch I don't play competitively. I have some decks with me. I noticed recently that I lost some cards out of them, and I think I found some in my backpack just now. All right, let's keep everything together there. If I don't have any questions, I will be closing this down early. I understand that this was mostly a test to make sure that my new webcam worked. Let's see. Didn't want to make this a full show and tell. Just want to get a test on this. I plan on doing another stream sometime on Sunday after the event, after all the streams are done and all that stuff, or recapping my time there. That'll be in addition to any interviews I do while I'm here. Those will publish probably at a later date, but I did want to get something out right now. But any questions about the event or the station? Let me just see if I have any, if I got any other emails about this one from the Pokemon people. Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's too much in particular. I do appear to be on the Pokemon email list, so I got stuff about Pokemon. What is it called? Pokemon Quest. I keep getting that confused with the late era DS game Pokemon Conquest, which know that it's something totally different. Although I would love a sequel to that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that's kind of an untapped thing there. I think the first one did reasonably okay. It was a very late, came out after Black and White, so it's like the last DS Pokemon game or something like that. Not well, I think Black and White 2 may have come out after, but you get the idea. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything else I want to show here. Not in particular, to be honest. Probably gonna close this up soon. Obviously, I brought my Switch with me as well as my 3DS, a couple other things. But yeah, I hope this worked out well for everyone out there. But I think we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon here. So thank you very much for watching. I look to do another one of these live streams on Sunday after the event is over. But until then, keep watching this channel. Hopefully, I do get some stuff put up during the weekend. We'll see exactly how things shake out and what I run into. And if you're at the event, say hi. I always like to meet fans and stuff like that. All right, folks, thanks.